Hey guys, what's up? See, we got some people here watching on YouTube. Look at the Periscope real quick here. Get this all set up so I can interact with y'all really quick. All right, so we got 24 people watching on Twitter. We got 7 or 8 people watching on YouTube. If you guys can hear me okay, please let me know. Audio and video is good on YouTube. Awesome. Ancap Gamer says, how are you today? Hey Ancap Gamer, what's up? I am great. Got some people in the YouTube chat. Hey guys. Hey guys on Periscope over on Twitter. If you can hear me, I see we got some people chatting over there. Let me know that my audio is good, that we are rocking, we're good to go. Awesome. Sometimes my mic sounds a little funny. It's a little echoey. You got my Chiefs blanket laying on the floor as always, try to soak up some sound, but sounds like y'all can hear me. So this is Comfy Stream Quarantine Edition. So last stream was working out some bugs, and working out some bugs on the stream, so I had my stream will be starting soon background behind me the whole time. So tonight I just threw together Comfy Stream Quarantine Edition little background and making my video bigger so it's not as weird to watch me on a tiny little screen like you guys do when I play Animal Crossing. So this is the new background for now. Probably tweak it a little bit, maybe do something a little bit fancier, but for tonight this works. It's just a chill stream. We're just gonna chat about a few different topics. As always, it's a Q&A session as well, so if this is your first time joining me on a live stream on YouTube, be sure to hit that like button and stick around, and hopefully we will have some good solid discussion here from the chat and otherwise. And I see that Twitter is telling me that I sound great for you guys too, or as great as I can with the equipment that I have, so that's awesome. So let me pull up YouTube here really quick. I'm looking down at it on my phone, but I want to have it on the screen, so I'm not, let's get that set up real quick. I see RC Scott says, hey, new subscriber and first live stream. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for hanging out. As always, guys, you guys are awesome over on YouTube and Twitter. I've been doing this for almost 2 months now. These weekly Thursday night live streams. I was a little late tonight. As you guys know, I usually hop on around 7. It's 7:15, but here we are. So for those of you who don't know, if you're new, welcome to the stream. I stream every Thursday night unless I'm sick or something, but I always let you guys know on my Twitter at _KenziePuff, KenziePuff there. You guys can always check out my streaming schedule or whatever over on my Twitter, and all of my live streams are uploaded to my YouTube channel after the fact. This is something I've decided to do because we talk about a lot of good topics on these streams and we have a lot of great interactions with you guys always. So I like to make sure that if you have to pop out of the stream, I know we're in different time zones. I have different followers from Europe and South America and all over. So I want to make sure everybody can go back and watch things that we were talking about tonight. So if the video looks overexposed, I have this light on, see if that helps. The overexposure could just be due to the fact that I am really pale. And you guys aren't used to seeing me blown up like this in the corner. So if you're talking about the background, oh yeah, Neil says that's better. Yeah, I had the light on. My husband's been using this room for an office because he's working from home. So I'll just pop that light off so the lighting's a little bit better. So I'm not a glow-in-the-dark vampire for you guys. So every Thursday, we've been doing this for a while. Obviously, it's not an obligation, but I wanted to start doing something weekly for you guys on this channel where we talk about current events, or sometimes I have a topic that I want to talk about specifically. And tonight we have a few different things that I wanted to talk about, but for now, I'll just wait for people to slide in and see what's going on with you guys. How are you guys doing? How is quarantine treating you? Hopefully you guys are doing well. Things are a bit crazy out there, or not as crazy, depending on where you are. Hopefully you guys are doing awesome, and this stream is called the Comfy Stream. The reason I call it that is because it's every week. I just kind of wear a t-shirt, sit in my sweatpants, talk to you guys about stuff. So tonight, the stream is a comfy stream, but it's called Reading is Hard. And I have a few more serious topics that I want to get to tonight, but I thought we'd start off with something tonight a little more lighthearted and kind of sarcastic, which I'm never sarcastic, as you guys know if you follow me on Twitter. But, somebody on Periscope said, I've been hoping to catch your streams in between my 12-hour shifts. Wow, you get that done. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I know Thursday nights around this time is kind of a hit or miss for a lot of people, but I wanted to do a weekday night, and I'm hoping at some point to add a Saturday stream as well. That's probably a stream where I play Animal Crossing and stuff like that. Something a little different for people that aren't as into political stuff or social commentary and stuff like that. So, all right, that's enough of an intro. I've been rambling on now. I see some people filtering in here. So this stream is called Reading is Hard. Comfy Stream Reading is Hard. And if you guys follow me on Twitter, or if you don't, I'll fill you in a little bit. In the past few days, I've had some really awesome, legitimately awesome, no sarcasm, interactions with followers and people on my Facebook page, which is Mac and Liberty. It's just like the title of my YouTube channel. And people have asked me different questions about my political beliefs and libertarianism, and I've been giving people book suggestions. And 3 or 4 people actually have told me, yeah, cool, I bought your book suggestion, I'll let you know what I think about it, and that's awesome. That's one of my favorite things is interacting with people, and when they genuinely come from a place where they want to learn things, and they're cool with having a little bit of discussion, but also they're cool with researching themselves. I have no problem with explaining like basic stuff, and I realize sometimes people have genuine questions and people are busy in their lives, but I really would encourage anybody who has questions to ask me for book suggestions. I'm not sure what it is. I think, Dandy Spike in the YouTube chat says, I'm a little late, but I'm here. What did I miss? You haven't missed anything. I just started the stream. I've been just been talking for 5 minutes and giving people a little intro, so you haven't missed anything. So anyways, I have had great interactions with people and given them book suggestions, and a few people have had very positive responses to this and said, oh, awesome, this is great, I'll read this book suggestion. But some people were really, I don't want to say antagonistic, but a lot of people, I will give them suggestions, and to be quite blunt, they want me to spoon feed them the information. So for example, RC Scott, this is one of his first streams that he's catching. He's a new subscriber, is asking in the YouTube chat right now, what's the best introduction to libertarianism? The best resource that I personally have grown a lot in my knowledge and genuine interest for libertarianism because of is Mises Institute. That's MISES.org. I feel like I shout them out so much on my YouTube channel, but genuinely they have helped me so much expand my own knowledge. I don't know everything. I'm constantly learning, as it should be. And they have hundreds of free PDFs of libertarian books, Austrian economics, all sorts of things. They also have a YouTube channel that has a ton of free lectures given by their professors that work for the Institute. And I would highly recommend just go give their website a peruse. And if you guys are still lost after that, hit me up in the email. My email is kenziepuff@gmail.com. It's always at the top of my Twitter profile. If you guys have any questions, you want book suggestions, shoot me an email. I check my email every morning and every night before I go to bed. I check at least twice a day, see if anybody's hitting me up for podcasts or whatever, want suggestions for things. And so I'm always checking that. So genuinely, I am here to help you guys. A lot of you guys are where I was at, or you're just interested even though you have different political beliefs. Somebody on Twitter just suggested Murray Rothbard's For a New Liberty. Fantastic book suggestion. Thank you. Fantastic. If you just want a basic overall book about libertarianism, that's a fantastic fantastic place to start. Obviously, I'm biased because it's Murray Rothbard, and I am an anarcho-capitalist, but it's good regardless. Sorry, I'm catching up with the chat here, trying to interact with you guys a little bit. Okay, let's see. Let me look at Twitter real quick. RC Scott says the Mises Media channel. Yes, yeah, that's a fantastic resource. I do realize, so this stream is called Reading is Hard, but I do realize that not everyone is a person that wants to sit down and read books. I realize some people learn visually. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts myself. The older I get, the more I'm listening to things like audiobooks. If you're an audiobook person instead of reading a book, there's plenty of audiobooks out there as well that Mises provides, or you can find them for free online. And that's a fantastic place to start, because I do realize that not that reading is hard, but people have different ways of learning. So I'm completely sympathetic to that. But why this stream is called Reading is Hard is because, RC Scott asked, okay, last question, what was the name of the Murray Rothbard book? There's several I would suggest, but as someone pointed out on Twitter, For a New Liberty by Murray Rothbard is a fantastic place to start. It's one of my favorite books, and from there you can get deeper into things and read more about economics specifically in different topics regarding libertarianism and anarcho-capitalism. But For a New Liberty by Murray Rothbard is a great place to start. Thank you for somebody that pointed that out on Twitter. That's one of the first books that I read by Rothbard, and it helped me understand where libertarians are coming from. So fantastic. And as Neil is pointing out in the chat, just reading the Mises Institute blog is great for newbies. Absolutely agree. The Mises Institute has a blog. They actually publish articles. If you join their email list, they publish articles on all sorts of different things, current events, economics, you name it. And they email you a couple times a week. Usually I get emails and on different articles, and some of them are genuinely really interesting, and a lot of them give me a perspective that I sometimes personally even hadn't thought about before on a specific topic. So you guys are awesome. Thanks for asking for suggestions and being so willing to give other people in the chat suggestions. That's awesome. Naomi says, I do have trouble reading books. I prefer visual storytelling. Totally get it. Totally get it. I personally love reading, but I understand people don't want to read. But I hate when what I dislike, so Scott's being very gracious. He's not demanding anything. Your name is probably not even Scott. That's probably your last name. That's what I'm going to call you, though. This is his first stream. He's just genuinely interested, asking for book suggestions and video suggestions. Awesome. That's great. But what I don't like is when people demand to be spoon-fed information. So for example, RC, okay, I'll call you RC. I'll give people a book to read. And instead of going, hey, actually, I'm a visual learner, are there any videos that I can read on this topic? Somebody last night was like, well, I don't understand why you can't just explain to me the topic that you tweeted about. And I love that you guys hang out with me and watch my streams and follow me on Twitter and that you value my opinion. But why would you listen to me specifically on a topic if I'm giving you the resources to expand your knowledge even more? Not just in a 144 character tweet from somebody like me on Twitter, but if you can read a book from one of the great economists, philosophers, etc., what are you doing demanding that I give you a soundbite in a tweet to try to explain a concept to you? That's what bothers me. So that's why the stream's called Reading is Hard, because I thought it was just so weird that this guy was demanding that I spoon feed him information, basically. That I don't like. So, Libertarian05, what's up? Hey guys. The C Factor, just listen to Rothbard's book about the state. Anatomy of This State is a free audiobook PDF on Mises' website. That's another really good audiobook. I myself actually listened to it as well as read it, because I like to listen to podcasts and stuff as well. Naomi says, if I have trouble understanding, I just look up online and learn more. I don't got like that guy did. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't have a problem with people wanting me to expand on concepts or anything like that. But I do have an issue with people just get so bent out of shape sometimes when I basically tell them it's not my job to explain this stuff to them. I want to be a good advocate for this stuff, absolutely. But I don't personally think that it's my job to hold your hand and walk you through things in 144 character tweets so that you understand. We live in an age of information, and more than ever before, like I've been talking about for the past 15 minutes, you can find so many free PDFs, videos, and resources online that I guess the reason why it bothers me is because I hope that people have that instinct within themselves to want to educate themselves and to learn more about a specific topic themselves. Asking for recommendations is one thing. To demand that I personally explain things to you, unless I've offered to do that when I have given you sometimes a list of books or resources and videos that you can go and watch that will explain it probably far better than I ever could. Though, don't get me wrong, I would love to get to the point where I explain it better than these amazing minds in the libertarian movement. But I'm not at that point yet. So I'm doing my due diligence and pointing you in the direction of people and resources that can do the best job doing that so that you get the best perspective and the best understanding about a certain topic. Mario776 says it's pretty short, so that's a nice start. Yeah, Anatomy of the State is a fairly short, even audiobook. I think it's only an hour and some change, if that long. It's not very long, so it's a good start, especially for anarcho-capitalism, which is of course the perspective that I come from. So. Kronos, you look like an English teacher. Not sure if that's a compliment in the present day and age. I'll take that with a grain of salt. Yeah, Neil says, plus a lot of Mises writers explain things much better than any Twitter personality. Yeah, that's my point. My point is not to say, how dare you ask me to explain something. My point is to say, like I said, I'm trying to give you the best resource that I personally think that I can give you. And when you go, I don't want to read that, or I don't want to look at that because reasons, it just quite honestly comes off as pretty lazy. And I hate to assume that that's it, but honestly, that's usually what it is. Naomi says, moral, the stories, just stop acting like children. LOL. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Man, you guys are killing it with the reading suggestions for people in chat. Thanks for helping out here. I appreciate it. Kufu Pineapple said, this is my friend Sabrina. Mac, I knew nothing of libertarianism until I met you. Honestly, I ended up looking up and researching some of it after I met you. Awesome. Yeah, I love that. That's the goal. I don't try to, obviously these streams are comfy streams. We talk about all sorts of topics. But obviously I'm a cosplayer, I do different things. I don't just talk about elections and voting and all that kind of stuff. I try to vary it a little bit. So that makes me happy that people, even if they don't end up agreeing, if you're looking at something and researching a different perspective because of me, that's awesome, period. Neil's asking, do you own Man Economy and State, paperback or hardcover? I do have a hardcover of Man Economy and State. I actually purchased it. So I went to Mises Institute in 2018, in the summer of 2018, which Mises Institute hosts a conference or university camp of sorts. It's a week long, and you get a lot of free books, but I also bought a lot of books while I was there, and Man Economy and State was one of them. So since 2018, that's when I've been just soaking everything up and reading everything I possibly can, and that's why I'm so passionate about recommending things to you guys. And I will take recommendations if there are books, not just libertarianism, like I want to learn about other philosophies. If you have a book from your perspective and you're not a libertarian that you think I should read, I will absolutely read it. That's something I really want to get better about, is reading on a consistent basis again, not just since 2018. So it is a hardcover. I'm not sure what edition it is, but I just got it in 2018. So I would imagine that since it came from the Mises Institute, it is one of the, it's probably one of the newer ones. Scott Kilgore said the Communist Manifesto. I've read the Communist Manifesto. PausX in the Periscope chat says, hi, hey, how are we doing there over on Periscope? Sorry, I'm watching the Periscope chat too. Periscope's tough because the messages disappear after a while. Trying to watch the comments scroll by as they scroll by here. RC says, I'm more of a fiction cat, but I'm interested in libertarian reads. Yeah, I like fiction as well. I'm getting ready to reread Dune. Alright, so that's a pretty cool conversation about books, since I think we've been sufficiently nerded out on that topic. So something that I wanted to talk about tonight was actually recommended to me by not a follower. I'm not sure he's watching. But this was something that I was tagged on Twitter. And let me find the tweet really quick so I can actually read the tweet to you guys. Let's see. I want to find this tweet so that you guys can understand why I'm talking about this, where this question comes from. Scott Kilgore said you can use a chat bot to see Periscope and YouTube in one chat window. Yeah, I actually Restream does that, but I haven't been able to get it to work. So I just kind of look at my Periscope. Okay, here we go. Blake Steinke on Twitter added me in a tweet last night and said, at Kenzie Puff, do you believe the smallest unit of society is the individual or the family? So I'm going to wait a little bit. In your view, Periscope and YouTube chat, what do you guys think is the smallest unit of society? Is it the individual or the family unit? I'd love to know what you guys think, and then I'll expand on what I think about this question, and we can chat about it a little bit. I'm interested to see what you guys think too, though. Neil says the family. So does For Posterity. Chrono says the individual. Individual. Scott Kilgore said the atom. RC says the family. Ty Bent VT says Milton Friedman would say family. For Posterity, you said you sort of need a village. No, you don't. Don't say that. Easy there, Hillary Clinton. Southern Avenger, what's up? Little not right in Periscope says an individual, simply because some people end up alone in their lives but still contribute to society. Oh, it's Ump9chan! How are you? So if you're just popping in, we are talking about what we think about what is the smallest unit of society. Is it the family or the individual? Libertarian05, so for anyone that's joining, someone added me on Twitter last night and wanted to know my opinion on, do you believe the smallest unit of society is the individual or the family? So that is the question that everyone's answering right now. Hey, End Democracies in Periscope. What's up, Jared? If anybody's just joining, we're talking about whether or not the smallest unit of society is the family or the individual. So I've got some varying answers from you guys. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my personal perspective on this and what I thought when I read my gut instinct when I read the question. So I have always had this issue with libertarians, certain libertarians, on social media. And in my opinion, I think a lot of libertarians get very, very gung-ho about individualism, individual this, individual that. Any individual can do whatever they want as long as they're not hurting anyone else. Live and let live, stuff like that. I have an issue with that. Now, my issue isn't, oh, we need to have government come in and whatever. Obviously, you guys know I don't believe in that sort of thing. But my problem with this is I think it exacerbates this issue that libertarians have, which is not giving a shit about culture. And I have an issue with these libertarians. As Caitlin is saying in the chat, many libertarians completely dismiss culture. And I take issue with this. Personally, my personal view is that we can't dismiss that. And the fact that so many libertarians do dismiss culture completely, there's so much that goes into why libertarians dismiss this. We could talk for hours just about this topic, but I'm just trying to give you guys my basic opinion on this right now. I think it's a big issue because, as R.C. Scott pointed out in the chat, that's how you get libertarians that are calling themselves fiscally conservative and socially liberal. Libertarianism has nothing to do with your personal social preferences. I get critiqued by other libertarians, and a lot, because I have a lot of personally not socially liberal values. My social values are I don't want to say conservative, because I'm not a fan of that label. Let's say traditional. And a lot of libertarians take issue with that. So though I don't even believe in the existence of a state, don't believe there should be one, I'm an anarcho-capitalist, people will tell me that because I hold personally traditional values that I'm not a libertarian, because libertarianism is fiscally conservative and socially liberal. Kronos said Judeo-Christian, not Judeo-Christian, just Christian. I hold Christian values. I am a Lutheran, for people that don't know. I'm a Lutheran Christian. Sorry to the Catholics out there. I grew up Lutheran. I grew up going to private school. It has heavily influenced my life in the best ways possible. Chrono says, aren't some cultures better than others, though? Better than others, though? Yes. I also completely reject this idea of egalitarianism. I think it's absolutely cancerous. As Rothbard put it, it's a revolt against nature. It's just not reality. And that's another thing people critique libertarians on a lot. Is, oh, well, you live in fantasy land and blah, blah, blah. And I think the reason why people have this view of libertarians is because they're coming into contact with these egalitarian, fiscally conservative, socially liberal libertarians, and then they meet people like me, and they point at me and they say, you're a conservative, you're not a libertarian. And I go, you can ask Caitlin. I mean, Caitlin and I agree on a lot, but she's conservative. I'm an anarcho-capitalist. There are certainly things we disagree on, quite a few things we disagree on. I am not a conservative just because I'm not an egalitarian and I'm not a socially liberal. That is just, I completely reject that notion. So to relate this all back to the family or the individual being the smallest unit of society, I believe that the smallest unit of society personally is the family. Now let me explain before anybody goes, oh, you're dog whistling or oh, blah, blah, blah. I trust you guys not to do that. If you're watching this stream, you're probably not going to do that. But just let me explain. So when I read this question, I immediately thought, okay, yes, technically the smallest minority is the individual. But the reason why I personally think that phrase is a little bit, it's a little bit, I don't even know what to say. I just don't personally like that phrase. I think that phrase is, it just negates a lot of things. Yes, individuals are technically the smallest. I believe in secession all the way down to the individual, obviously. But when it comes to culture, which as we've just talked about is something a lot of libertarians either completely disregard or think that it can be entirely leftist and somehow we will create a libertarian paradise, is just, quite frankly, ridiculous. This is my personal view. And I'm not alone in thinking this either, as shocking as that may be, because the really loud people are the people who are socially liberal because they own culture. As in Democracy, my friend Jared on Periscope pointed out, it's the atomization of people, and it leaves out respect for the natural hierarchical order, which, as Jared pointed something out earlier, this is something that Rothbard has talked about, which is something that I really, really agree with Rothbard on. And I like had a train of thought and it just left my brain. We're doing it live, guys. So to get back to the question, you guys are making amazing points in the chat, and I'll come back and read. I'll come back and read through. You guys are making amazing points. I'm like seeing like the long sentences you guys are typing out. This is awesome. Great discussion right now. Personally, the smallest unit of society, which I even hate saying society because it's like we live in a society, you know, the whole meme, but it's the family. That's, in my opinion, where culture stems from, where tradition stems from, how you change culture, you transmit it through family groups. That's my opinion. Not to say the individual isn't important, but most individuals are not static, separate. You can't, culture is going to affect you whether you like it or not, is basically what I'm trying to say. So yes, as an individual, you're important as an individual, you have inherent value as an individual. The individual should be important, because I know people are going to twist that and be like, oh, so individuals aren't important? Not you guys, maybe people that watch this back. Neil said Adams, that's the word. Yeah, I'm not doing a very good job of explaining this, but basically my point is families are important, and I don't think that's a dog whistle, because here's the thing. This is a great segue. This is a great segue into something else that I tweeted about earlier. So, wait, I want to answer this question. Celadriel, I'm not pronouncing that correctly. When I say people are going to think it's a dog whistle, I just mean like I'm just making fun of and being sarcastic of people that call people Nazis for saying family is important. to be clear. I'm just joking around when I say, oh, people are going to think I'm dog whistling. It's actually something I've been accused of before. And I have very, I don't want to say moderate opinions on this, but for the most part, I feel like things that I'm saying are common sense. I don't know. Could be wrong. Maybe not everybody thinks this way, but everybody probably should. Just saying. Anyway, Saladriel says, are people without family a part of society, or would you classify them as a family of one? Individuals are part of society, absolutely, but they're not families. One person is not a family. That doesn't mean they're not a part of society. They're a part of society. So I'm not saying that individuals by themselves aren't a part of society, but I am saying that the smallest group that can influence culture and transmit culture is the family. So that's why I feel it's important. So I feel that it's kind of a false dichotomy between the individual and the family when it comes to influencing society and helping to create society. You can't have family without individuals, clearly. But I don't think you can have a well-functioning, I should say, society without this concept of families and transmitting culture. I just simply don't believe that that's possible. Feel free to disagree with me. That's just my opinion on this subject. So hopefully the follower or the person on Twitter that asked this question watches this back and this sheds some light on my view on these things. And I would love to talk about this with you guys more too. Maybe I'll make a video on it and properly lay out my opinion on it, but just doing it live, just spitballing it, that's my opinion on that. And I feel like some of you might agree with me. So I'm gonna read the chat back right now. Just gonna scroll up right quick and check the chat here. I know Caitlin was. Let's see. Yes, that was the real Caitlin Bennett in my chat. Caitlin and I are friends. Caitlin said, labels suck. They always get muddied by people who want to change their meaning. I stopped calling myself a libertarian because while that's how I feel about government, culture matters too much. Completely understand. I changed my profile. I have never had libertarian in my bio on Twitter. I have had liberty activist, which now I cringe at that. When I first started my Twitter, or first started growing my Twitter, I should say, I have had, what else did I have? I think I've just had Mises Rothbard Hoppe in my profile, and then listed a bunch of things, and now I have anarcho-capitalist in my profile, but I have never had the libertarian. I do agree it's very, very frustrating when people see libertarian and they assume things about you. They assume that you're going to be a socially liberal person, that you're going to be wishy-washy, live and let live, not have opinions on things. Dave Smith, the comedian who is Rothbardian, actually made a fantastic point about this on one of his podcasts in the past few months. And they were talking about cultural issues, and he said, just because you don't believe, I'm paraphrasing here obviously, but basically Dave was saying, just because you're libertarian doesn't mean you can't have opinions on things. If somebody asks you, what do you think, for example, about Drag Queen Story Hour? It would be wrong to say that you don't care about it. You might not care about it, but you have an opinion one way or the other. And to just sit there and say, oh, I don't have an opinion on it, whatever, you're not doing anything. You're also doing a disservice to yourself. It's okay to have opinions on things. And libertarians seem to be these, many libertarians, I should say, seem to be these amoebas that they just float around and and they're just little sponges, and whoever they're talking to, they adapt that person's views so that they don't get judged by the person that they're talking to. I am not afraid to be judged by people that I'm talking to. I have opinions, I have views on things, and that's perfectly fine. As Jared's pointing out, it's this idea of thick versus thin libertarianism, which for a long time I was completely baffled why these libertarians were driving me nuts. I didn't understand why they seemed to not have opinions. To me, they seemed more like centrists. And I can't agree with that. I cannot agree that centrism is libertarianism. I simply cannot. And that's what these people seemed like to me. And I feel like, as Caitlin pointed out, when you call yourself a libertarian, that's what people think of. They don't think any conservative social values or anything like that. They think centrist, basically, from what I've personally seen. They seem apathetic to how culture affects people. It really comes off of, and honestly, I feel like, so we all know about the meme of people saying libertarians hate the poor, they hate all these people, right? We've all come into contact with that, or you've seen it, or maybe you've said it to a libertarian, like, well, you just hate the poor. Probably nobody in this chat, but you guys get what I'm saying. I feel like this is a big reason why that stereotype exists of libertarians hating people. Because holy shit, they just can't seem to stand up sometimes for things that they believe in. And if you're not standing up for anything, a lot of people are going to assume that you don't care. And to be quite honest, it's a fair assumption. And as in Democracy Jared in the Periscope chat pointed out, it's so sad that the term has been co-opted. That's why Rothbard himself actually started calling himself a paleo. Yeah, it's really unfortunate. And I do stray away from calling myself just libertarian. I don't have a problem with the label, but I do have a problem with, as Jared is saying in the Periscope, ideological cowardice. I don't have respect for anyone who shrinks away and tries to hide or adapt people's views that they're talking to because they're so scared. They're cowards. They can't even stand up for what they believe. And that doesn't just go for libertarians. I don't like conservatives, liberals, leftists, whatever you want to call yourself. I don't respect that. I respect people who stand up for their views. Period. I might think they're idiotic, to be quite honest, but I have more respect for people who are willing to have a spine than I do for these people who simply don't. So, all right. Great discussion, guys. Well, I'm looking to the chat now. Scott Kilgore, so you're saying like a social contract joke? RC Scott, somebody called me a beta because I watch anime. That's absolutely not true. Plenty of Chad people watch anime. That person is clearly uninformed. AnCap Gamer says, I believe the phrase goes, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And that seems very cliche. Of course, the problem is, in politics, at least in my personal view, it sure seems like the people that won't stand for anything don't fall for anything. They fall for leftism. Take from that what you will. Kronos, can we petition you for the Ben Shapiro Sunday special? I would not go on Ben Shapiro's show if he invited me. He's a filthy neocon, and no thank you. KS Hunter said, that's part of why I'm not really a libertarian. I think they kind of misunderstand the purpose of government. They say things like, you can't legislate morality, which makes no sense, And to you, sir, I think you need to read The Law by Bastiat, which is The Law is the first book that I read. I read it in 2016 on a flight from the Midwest to DC. And from then on, I just soaked in a bunch of information. Chaos Hunter, all laws are moral laws is my only point on that. Absolutely not. You should read the book. It's as Jared's pointing out in Periscope, it is a fantastic introduction. Judging by what you've said regarding law and morality, I would read that book. There's a free PDF, and I believe there's an audiobook of The Law by Bastiat on Mises.org. Check it out. I'm being serious. It's very short. It's not a long book, and it's a great introduction to that line of thinking. Yeah. I'm doing it again. Yeah, definitely check it out. It's if you're an audiobook person, I believe it's on audiobook there too. It's fairly short, and I'd love to know what you think about it. I'm not slapping them with books. I'm just trying to help people out, okay? Yeah, like Demonat says, it's only 74 pages. It's a really short book. And it's very digestible. I don't find it to be one of those books where you read a paragraph and you're like, what did he just say? It's a very digestible, good starter book. Chaos Hunter, have you heard of Matt Walsh? Yeah, I've heard of Matt Walsh, and I don't trust Matt Walsh because he made a tweet saying that he hates dogs. Incap Gamer said, she's beating us over the head with books. No, I'm not. They're short books, guys. Yeah, Matt Walsh is basically a troll. I don't agree with most of the things that man says. I do follow him on Twitter. I follow people I don't agree with. I kind of don't have a choice because I'm a cosplayer. I know you're being a smart ass, Ancap Gamer. Steve Lebowski says, sorry, what books are you talking about? Oh, I was suggesting that someone read The Law by Frederick Bastiat. Chrono says, I wish these libertarian books were animes. Petition to create cartoon versions illustrating libertarian books. That could be amazing. Let's do it, guys. Brandon698 just coming in to say we love your growth. Thanks. Yeah, you guys, I thanks so much for it. We got 37 people watching. We got a couple people watching on Periscope as well. Are Michael and Tom Woods making a cartoon? That's pretty cool. That's gonna be amazing. Oh, KS Hunter said, LOL, you won't like me then because I agree with most of his views, not his satirical ones, but he has legitimate points. I'm not saying Matt Walsh never has legitimate points. I just think a lot of times Matt Walsh is a really good example of conservatives being socialists at heart. That's just my personal opinion on him. I don't think I disagree with him on everything, but I certainly disagree with him more than I agree with him. That doesn't mean I won't like you. I'm friends with conservatives on social media. And I'm a cosplayer, so it's kind of hard to avoid people that completely disagree with me totally on politics. So. Okay, Hutter. Why? I've been saying Hunter. That is not your name. KS said, also, I used to follow you on Twitter, but I deleted my account. Sorry about that. It was killing me. No problem. Professor McCoy said, just read them aloud in anime cosplay. It might attract simps, but it might also convert them to libertarianism. No, it wouldn't. People need to read things themselves. You guys missed the beginning of this stream's rant. Read it yourself. Read it yourself. Oh, Steve Lebowski, yes. The Tuttle Twins series is amazing. Julie Borowski promotes that. I believe she promotes that. I think Julie created her own children's book. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Julie Borowski is either already has or created her own children's book, which is great. Opinions on Gavin McInnes. I used to watch his videos a bit, but to be quite honest, I can't give an opinion on him because I haven't watched anything he's done in so long. Didn't he get kicked off the internet? Oh, yeah, okay. I forgot we have got some newbies in the chat here. If you're wondering what the hell cosplay is, it's costuming. If you've ever seen those videos of people at Comic-Cons dressing up as characters, that's what I do. And it's just a hobby. A lot of people seem to think it's my job, but it's a hobby. It's just something I do for fun. Kronos says, I was initially drawn by the cosplay, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are. I have no problem saying that. We gotta hook them with the anime and they'd be like, hey, here's some philosophy for you. Here's some books for you to read. That's gonna be a meme now. Me slapping people with books. I'm not trying to slap people with books. I have John. Oh, hey, John. John Douglas says, Matt, have you played Persona 5 yet? No. I have not. RC Scott says, all right, need to get back to this short story. Nice to meet you, Mac. Thanks for the recommendation. Later, y'all. Thanks so much for joining, RC. Hopefully see you next week. And good luck with that short story. I saw that you said you were a writer. That's awesome. Creative writing was one of my hobbies when I was younger. So I respect authors a lot. So good luck with your short story. Professor McCoy, we are about to talk about that topic, actually. We're going to talk about Caitlin's tweet that pissed people off because I think it's hilarious, naturally. Little Not Right on Periscope said, think the first time I came across your account was because of a random sassy reply you made. Yeah! It's so funny. I have a lot of people follow me because they're like, I saw you clap back at somebody on Twitter and I thought it was funny. So I followed you. And then they start following me and they're like, whoa, what is this? I'm a bit of a weird mix on Twitter. Well, let's talk about that, Professor McCoy. Professor McCoy asks, I'm probably saying that wrong, did you see any of the freak out at Caitlin Bennett's hot take on the 19th? I see her in the chat, Caitlin, so hi, and any thoughts from you too? I thought this was absolutely hilarious. So let me go clip that really quick for people that have no idea what we're talking about, because that's pretty funny. Let me clip that so we can, I actually quote tweeted on Twitter. I want to show you guys the tweet because I could read it, but it's funnier if you just like read the tweet yourself. that actually made people mad. I personally thought it was really funny, but people didn't seem to think it was very funny. Of course, I have a different sense of humor than a lot of people, so you are, but it's close. It's pronounced like McCoy for Gaelic reasons. Oh, like that's Irish, right? That's the like native language. It's like the old traditional language. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Let's snip this, and I'll pull it up. In the chat here. Caitlin is explaining in the chat here a little bit what the tweet was, but I'm going to show it to you guys really quick. I'm going to pull it up on the stream here. Give me 1 sec. Scottish Gaelic, which is a dead language. Irish Gaelic is still alive though, so yes, basically a long linguistic story. Cool. Apparently I'm Scottish. I don't know. I'm adopted, so I don't know my heritage. But Caitlin, so I'm gonna get into this, but basically, Caitlin tweeted out discussing that women tend to vote leftist, which is a fact. Single women, particularly, tend to vote leftist. She posted a graph. I don't know what really the problem was. I mean, she posted the graph. Like, what do you want to do? Like, here is the tweet. I'm pulling it up right now for y'all, so y'all can see it. KS Hutter, thanks for joining the stream. Definitely read that book. Make sure you check it out. It'll be really good. So, this is the tweet. Caitlin said, honestly, letting women vote in this country wasn't one of the best ideas. Females vote with emotion and overwhelmingly support democratic feel-good policies that take away our actual rights. I'd rather lose my right to vote than lose my right to defend myself with a firearm. So, naturally, to prove that women are totally not emotional and definitely don't vote for Democrats because they're emotional, a lot of women angrily responded to this tweet with extremely hateful comments, therefore proving the entire point of the tweet, which is absolutely hilarious. So, there's this graph. This is the 2016 election. This is what happened. Caitlin wasn't flat out saying repeal the 19th. She was just saying that maybe it wasn't a very good idea. She wasn't saying, let's take women's voting rights away because they vote leftist. She just said maybe it wasn't a good idea, and then posted a graph of how the election in 2016 would have gone if only women voted. So there's that. Now you guys have context. So I'm going to tell you what I think about this. My biggest problem with the reaction to this tweet personally, beyond people being idiots and personally attacking Caitlin, of course, my biggest problem with the responses to this tweet were, I don't know if you all remember in 2016, it was a crazy time. 2016 was so crazy that after the election, leftist news sites were so angry that Trump won that they ran all these articles making fun of married white women because they overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump. And they had such a field day saying white married women voted for Trump, blah, 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 blah. And they kept going on and on about how married women, specifically white ones, voted for Trump. And this is horrible. So apparently, it's completely okay to be angry and make generalizations about married white women, but if we dare post a graph saying that if only women voted, Hillary Clinton would have won, and say women vote overwhelmingly for Democratic policies, well, that's just bigoted and sexist. So it's not sexist to point out that married white women voted for evil Donald Trump, But it is sexist to point out that if only women voted, Hillary Clinton would have won. Somehow, one of those things is sexist and the other one isn't. It's just kind of funny. I'm just saying, when it comes to data, people seem to only get mad at certain groups when they point things out. That's all I'm saying. So I thought it was hilarious that people were mad about this. I think it's far too late to repeal the 19th. I know that's a meme. Oh, repeal the 19th, don't let women vote. The damage is done, guys, for anybody that says that. It's too late for that. It's far too late for that. All it would do now is rally people up and piss people off. And it's not gonna do anything, in my opinion, of course. So I thought this was absolutely hilarious. I thought it was really funny that even conservative women, I'm not just making fun of like left-wing people responding to this tweet. There were conservative women responding to this tweet. Just somebody pissed in their Cheerios. I guess it was Caitlyn. I don't know, man. And they were saying that just all kinds of virtue signaling. How dare you say that women shouldn't vote? We worked hard for our right to vote in this country and blah, 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 and all that bullshit. And I just thought it was hilarious that all these conservative women were so angry, just irrationally angry at this tweet. I just legitimately do not understand. That's just quite clearly not what she's saying. So, and her and I have talked about this, but I'm going to show you guys something else too in kind of relation to this. Let me clip it really quick. I really should have these ready before I stream, but you know me, I fly by the seat of my pants on these live streams here. Let's see here. Someone said it's called partisanship, Mac. It's not new, it just smells worse. Gosh, if that ain't the truth. So, in relation a little bit to Caitlyn's tweet here, a friend also noted, a friend showed me this. A friend posted this on her Instagram story. And this friend is conservative. I definitely think she would call herself conservative. She is in a Facebook group, in Alex Clark's Facebook group, who is with Turning Point USA. So this is a bunch of future female leaders, women that are involved with that. This is a bunch of conservative women. It's a conservative women Facebook group. And they posted about Caitlyn's tweet. And my friend commented and said, even if that was what Caitlyn is saying, why would you marry somebody who you don't think could vote your best interests if it came down to it? So basically saying, you know, she's a Christian conservative, saying two become one in marriage. So even if Caitlyn was saying that husbands should vote for their families, why would that be a problem if you trust the person that you're with? And one of the women whose name I have blocked out, I'm not trying to call anybody out or get anybody in trouble or dox anybody here with their full names. So I blocked this girl's name out and her profile picture out here. She had commented and said, I'm a separate human being from whoever I'm in a relationship with. I want to have my own opinions separate from him and vote however those opinions separate, whether that's a liberal vote for him versus my Republican one, or my libertarian vote for his Republican one. If my significant other thinks he can vote my interests better than I can, then I don't want to marry him. This comment, and I tweeted this and kind of gave people my thoughts on it. This comment to me is particularly disturbing. Now, I'm certainly not saying, to be clear, that you should agree with your significant other or husband or wife on absolutely everything. But what I do think is that people who are marrying someone who doesn't share core values And to be clear, a lot of people, when I tweeted this out, took this as me saying, oh, leftists are bad, conservatives are good, everybody should marry conservatives. I have no problem with left-wing people or people who are left-leaning marrying people who are also left-leaning and raising their children as left-leaning. Obviously, I disagree with their worldview, but left-leaning people have been doing this for decades. And for some reason, conservative women and conservative men seem to have been shamed into saying, well, I can marry someone with differing views than me as long as we agree on the few things. Even if we disagree on core things, it's fine, we'll work it out. Now, obviously, I come from a Christian view of marriage. I do believe two become one. I believe strongly in having the same core values as your spouse, whether it be you're a woman and you have a husband, or you're a wife, or you're a man and you have a wife. I think, especially in the context of building a family, you should agree on core issues. If I'm a man, I'm not going to marry a feminist woman, because I wouldn't want my children, especially not my male children, to be raised by a feminist. That's a core thing for me, and that is politically related. Now, personally, I'm an anarcho-capitalist. My husband would not identify himself as a libertarian or anarcho-capitalist, though we do share a lot of the same views. He's certainly not a leftist either. We agree on every single core issue. I can confidently say we agree on. We dated for 7 years before we got married. We've talked about political topics and social issues at length with each other, and we align with each other very, very well. And when we got into the marriage prep, for those of you who don't know, I got married last October. And when we went to premarital counseling with our pastor, he was, of course, asking us basic questions and making sure we agree on what family structure should look like, what a husband's role is, what a wife's role is, and things like that. And we were astounded by the things that people don't talk about before they get married. It is legitimately, it seems like a lot of people are marrying complete strangers. And I'm not sure what y'all are doing out there, but stop it. Get some help. You shouldn't be marrying a complete stranger, somebody that you haven't talked about these intimate issues with, these core issues with. That's not a good idea. And I'm usually not a person that spouts out advice about this specific thing, but that I can confidently say is a terrible idea. Just an absolutely terrible idea. And actually, our pastor even, as I said, we're Lutheran. Our pastor even went so far to say to us, most people study more for their driver's license tests than they do for marriage. And I'm just going to let y'all simmer on that one, because that's horrifying. That's absolutely horrifying. Now, we could go into all the problems with modern dating and marriage, but we don't need to do that. Because you all pretty much know what I think about that, and I just don't feel like talking about that on the stream. But you're allowed to do what you want, but I just think it's an absolutely terrible idea. And I posted this picture that I have up on the screen here on Facebook. And actually, I had 2 Facebook friends get kind of prickly with me. And the 2 Facebook friends that got prickly with me were 2 men that are divorced. And one of them actually went so far to say is, well, I'm an anarcho-capitalist and my wife is a centrist, and we never had any issues. And I responded to him and I said, aren't you divorced? And he said, because I've seen some very public fights that they were having on Facebook. And he said, no, we're working it out. It's just a very, very complicated situation, but it doesn't have anything to do with politics or agreeing on core values. And I'm just like, are you sure about that? It's like the John Cena meme. Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Are you sure? You sure it's not because you fundamentally disagree on a lot of things? Okay. Like, I'm not really sure. Obviously, I have said that I come from a Christian view of marriage, so I'm not really sure what y'all think marriage is for. But to become one, especially if you're going to build a family, that family needs to be stable. And if you don't agree on core issues, the probability that your children will not grow up in a stable environment is so high that I believe it's irresponsible at that point. So that's my little rant on that. And to another point, it really is interesting to this, as I said, this comment was posted in a conservative female Facebook group. It's very interesting to see all these conservative females that preach out against feminism, but everything they say, the advice they give, and what they do is very in line with modern feminist thought. For example, them getting very angry about someone suggesting that women vote predominantly for Democrats. So it's just not, it's just very, very interesting that conservative women who say they don't like feminists seem to be touting a lot of the catchphrases that feminists use. I'll just let y'all simmer on that. So to switch up the topic a little bit, let me look at the chat a little bit, because I've been kind of rambling on here for a little bit. Neil says egalitarianism is a hell of a drug. Yep, it truly is. John Douglas said, I got engaged to a girl 2 days after meeting her, Mac. Oh, well, good luck. Listen, I don't care what people do. I do my thing, but I'm not marrying anybody I don't have time to discuss core issues with. It's really important. Now, I'm not saying you should get bullied, but I'm just saying, personally, it's a no from me. But hey, we both Christian. Hopefully God blesses your marriage. That's what I'll say. Also, I love how everyone's laughing. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to roast you, but like, I don't know specifically your situation. I don't know your fiance, so I'm not going to make judgments. Just from face value, personally, no thank you. But I know that you and I have different worldviews on some things. I've been on your podcast, and I think that you're a smart guy, so. I love how I'm like fidgeting and I'm so uncomfortable right now. Guys, don't be mean to people in the chat. Come on now. That's my job. Something I will say though, I feel like men have been sold this lie. Men have been sold, men and women, both, have been sold many lies about marriage, relationships, college, etc. And specifically, men have been sold this lie that they don't have time to develop themselves, to grow into being the individual that they want to be, to develop skills for getting a fantastic job that they want, to build the resources that they want to get. And men have been sold this lie that like women, they need to get married as young as possible. And so many men that I've talked to, and I know you're going to say that's not true, that's something that people pressure women about. And one, good, especially if you want kids, sorry, that's just the truth. But two, let me explain a little bit. What I mean is, I've talked to many men, I get emails from guys all the time. Please stop asking women for relationship advice. If you're a man, it's not a good idea. We don't know what we want. You need to talk to male mentors about that. Just a side note. But I get these messages and emails from men all the time with a specific anxiety about relationships and getting married and building a life with someone. Stop worrying about it. You have so much time as a man in this society. You need to work on you. Men are happier when they have a personal goal that isn't depending on somebody else. Scott Kilgore says leadership anxiety. I think it could be related to that, but I also think it's imposter syndrome. And it has a lot to do with how we have been sold this lie that boys and girls should be raised the same, which is absolutely bullshit. And it's egalitarianism again, which is, as I've said, completely cancerous. But to any guys out there in the chat, I interact with guys a lot on Twitter who say this stuff. Take your time, especially if you're in your late teens, in college still. You don't need to rush out and get married to some 20-something-year-old girl if you're in college. I'm 26. I got married when I was 25 because my mom wouldn't allow me to get married, even though my husband and I dated for 7 years. I couldn't get married before I got a college degree, which I didn't even end up getting, but my husband does have one. So she let it slide. But I would have got married a lot sooner, personally, as a woman, if I could have. And I'm listening while writing. What if you're 36? If you're for posterity, you're 34. RC Scott, you're 36. You guys are acting like you're old dudes. Like, there's no reason. We're gonna get on a tangent here, and okay, we're just gonna get on a tangent here. I wasn't gonna talk about this, but we will. Smoke Monkeys asking how Animal Crossing's going. Animal Crossing's going really well. I'm probably gonna do an Animal Crossing stream this Saturday afternoon, early evening, for anybody that's more interested in watching me goof around on Animal Crossing than listening to this kind of stuff. Thanks for asking about Animal Crossing. 36, 34, whatever. You, first of all, you're in your 30s. For a lot of guys, that's your peak. Like, women tend to peak at 28, whatever. And I just think there's been this incredible lie that men have been sold that you're creepy if you're in your 30s and you date a woman in her 20s. And I think this is utter bullshit. Utter bullshit. I can't even describe to you how angry it makes me. First of all, being a woman in my 20s. Now, I'm 26, so it's getting to that point, but I'm still in my 20s for now, so I'm going to say it. It's bullshit that people say, oh, you're so creepy if you date a woman in your 20s. We have artificially extended adulthood and adolescence so far. It is to the point where I tweeted a year ago, I think, about dating women over 25 and how, whatever. And I think it's been purposeful. I'm trying to figure out how to say this and not seem crazy. I talk with my husband about this all the time. I think it's purposeful that men who are in their 30s, mid-30s, have been told that dating a woman from 20 to 27, let's say, is creepy and that they're being manipulative. It's really weird. You're an adult. And we've artificially extended this. I have seen an article saying, well, people make your brain isn't fully developed till you're such and such, so you shouldn't get married. And I think that's bullshit. Not that your brain isn't developed. Of course, there's scientific evidence for that. But the problem is I've seen articles that they're now trying to push it back to 30. So people that are 30 are now being a lot people that are 30 are being told, basically, I have seen articles saying that 30 is when your brain is developed. So how far are we going to take this? How far? And it only seems to apply to women too. That's another thing that pisses me off. Personally, as a woman who's 20, I was married when I was 25. That's just utter bullshit. When I got married when I was 25. It's just stupid. Just really stupid. 4 Story says, is 34 really old? No, it's not old. Sorry, I'm catching up with the chat here. Oh, Martin said, thanks for the book recommendations. I'm enjoying them very much so far. That's awesome to hear, Martin. And if you need more or you have any questions, please let me know. I know you follow me on Twitter, and that's how you reached out to me, so don't be shy. Kuda RT Gaming said, is it Kuda? Am I saying that wrong? RT Gaming said, I've heard the bullshit. 30 is the new 20, and I'm just sitting here like, biology is still biology. Yeah. And people are going to find that out. So personally, I'm 26. I don't want to have kids after I'm 30. Probably 29. So like in a year or so here, whenever this coronavirus shit settles itself out, we'll see. But I want to have kids we're established now, we're married, whatever, as young as I can. With the situation that I've been given. Somebody asked, I think it was Neil, asked, how would you raise your son and your daughter different? For sure, if I had a daughter, I would stop feeding her this bullshit that she's special just because she's a woman. Not that every individual can't be special in their own way, but I think we need to be realistic with women, and we aren't. So, for example, when I was younger, I have a younger brother. We're only 15 months apart. I'm adopted. My brother's biological to my parents. And I'm 26, he's 25. And when we were teenagers, he would have people over. They would go hang out in the basement, whatever. I would have people over. I'd have to sit at the kitchen table. My parents would want to meet them and blah, blah, blah. But it's because they were keeping me safe, because I'm a woman. I don't know if you have seen me, but I'm not a large person. I'm pretty petite, and they were keeping me safe. And I didn't realize that at the time, but now that I'm a little bit older, I realize looking back that all the things that they did different, they were doing because they were being realistic with me about how women and men are different. And I appreciate that. And that's definitely something that I will pass on to my kids. And I think that's a good thing. Sorry, I'm just reading your guys. You guys have had some really cool discussions in the chat tonight. I'm just trying to catch up with chats here right now. Wow, it's already almost 8:45. I didn't even realize it's already 8:45. That's crazy. Hey Jason, what's up? Hey Correction. Hope you guys are having a good night. I feel like there's something else I was going to talk about tonight. Oh, Scott Kilgore said earlier that he thinks it's harder to find a husband than a wife, and I completely disagree with that. Neil asked, Mac, what do you not agree with Hapa on? There's not a lot that I disagree with. I would have to think about that question. For posterity, why are you Fed posting in my chat? I have lost everything in the lake. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm in Central Time. I'm in the Midwest. I know, I'm just poking fun. I know you're not trying to Fed post. I'm just having a little fun with you guys. I'm not as big of an enthusiast as Caitlin, we'll say that, but I do enjoy them. Are you guys trying to dox me in chat right now? Damn. I thought we were cool. Scott said, another way of looking at my point, a bad woman can be made good from a good man, but usually a bad man can't be made good from a good woman. Well, that's why you have to find someone that you trust to lead you. So a good man can pick almost anyone. I don't know, that's kind of tricky. I don't know if I agree with that. James Webb, my, what's your favorite anime? My favorite anime is Neon Genesis Evangelion. It's my favorite anime. RC Scott, Chiefs are a good team. Yeah, we are. How about that Super Bowl, though? It's looking like it might be the last Super Bowl. The world is ending. Bears have been garbage for a long time now. Got that right. Husband's a Packers fan, so... Yeah, I'd beat you in too. I would eat them too. Martin said the Seahawks should have run the ball. RC Scott said, there's a lot of Packers fans in Chicago. It's sickening. Well, you know, they like winners. What can I say? Philosopher King is spitting the truth here in the chat, guys. I'm just saying. Philosopher King, John Douglas, Packers is objectively the worst team ever. No, they're not. But you're a Texans fan, so I'd be salty too. Neil, sorry Neil, I've been seeing your question. Do you like Degent? Yes. Degent? I say Degent. I do. My husband and I saw Periphery last October, the week before our wedding, and that was awesome. Martin said, John, you misspelled the Dolphins. You shut your mouth about the Dolphins and all that they have done for us. I will never shit talk the Dolphins again after this past season. I will not do it. I will have no Dolphin blasphemy in my chat. It's pronounced gent. Oh, sorry. I do like it though. My husband's the metalhead, not me. But I do like some similar bands that he likes. RC Scott said, that's not why LOL. There used to be two teams in Chicago, Bears and Cardinals. Yeah, I know. They just went to the closest team and they bandwagoned. Those cowards. No, he said, I checked Twitter for a second and I come back and Mac's pointing at us. What did you guys do? We're talking about football. So I got a little animated. Got a little excited. You guys, there's no sports right now, so I'm just like, football, NFL football is really the only sport that I follow, though. Man, it's 8:50. We have 10 minutes left. So I remembered what I was going to talk about. I remembered what else I was going to talk about with you guys. Owen Schroyer of InfoWars got banned from Twitter. I don't know if you guys saw. Actually, I think multiple people left from InfoWars got banned from Twitter because of Media Matters. Media Matters wrote an article on Owen Schroyer saying that he was breaking social distancing. So therefore, he needed to be banned from Twitter because we can't have people on Twitter promoting breaking social distancing. How dare he? So basically, anytime anyone writes an article about anytime Media Matters writes an article, yes, our good friend, anytime our good friends over at Media Matters write an article about somebody, they get banned from Twitter. So that's interesting. John Douglas said, they'll come for us too, Mac. Oh, I know. I'm going to upload when I'm done, after this stream is done rendering later tonight, I'm going to upload a... Sorry, I was reading the chat there. I'm going to upload my rant from my last stream. For those of you that are on my last stream ranting about making coalitions with the left and if libertarians should do that or not, I went on a whole probably 10-minute rant about that. And I'm going to upload that as a separate video to my YouTube channel so people can watch just that. Because I watched it back and I actually was like, damn, I went off. So that'll be uploading to my channel soon. Probably sometime tomorrow. I want to thank you guys for 2,000 subscribers. I just started consistently posting and streaming every week on Thursday. And I really appreciate you guys hanging out. I hope you guys know that. This has been a really awesome discussion in particular. So thanks for bearing with me. Neil says, Mac, if you owned a Covenant community, who is getting physically removed? All right, I got a list. Patriots fans. People who prefer boneless wings. Physical removal. Who else? People who don't like chocolate. Physical removal. You cannot be trusted. Who else? Degenerates. Physical removal. That's an overall. Specifically the boneless wings people. All those physically removed. Oh yeah. Oh, we have some boneless wings people in the chat. Yeah, you're weak. Your blood is weak, and you will not survive the winter. That's what I have to say to you. Ah, yes, thank you, Neil. So here we go. People who would be physically removed from my Covenant community. Bronies, furries, degenerates in general, Patriots fans, and people who prefer boneless wings over traditional wings. That's it. That's 5 things. I feel like I covered pretty much everything with those things. Boneless wings are chicken nuggets. Thank you, ANCAP Gamer. Correction, Mac is somewhere between Hoppian and regular ANCAP. Yes, a lot of my friends are Hoppians. A lot of my friends call themselves regular ANCAPs. I prefer the term anarcho-capitalist, but I definitely lean towards Hoppian. I need to educate myself more on the topic. I do like a lot of things that he says, but I need to educate myself more on the topic and read more about it before I go calling myself that. Scott Kilgore, what is Hoppian? Hoppian is derived from Hans Hermann Hoppe, who was a student of Rothbard. Or he studied under Rothbard is a more accurate description of that. R.C. Scott, what about skinny jeans? That's covered under degenerates, I believe. Future Guy, thoughts on One Punch Man? I love One Punch Man. Tatsumaki is actually one of the cosplays that I really want to do, the green-haired girl. I think she's cool. Taxation and Stuff Guy said, I'm starting to like Michael Malice's anarchist without adjectives. I hate it. That's one of the things that I disagree with Michael Malice on, because aside from Michael Malice, because I love Michael Malice, he's an absolute savage. He's such an intelligent guy. A lot of people that just call themselves anarchists, I have watched become anarcho-communists. So I'm not comfortable with that, just the anarchist label at all. I understand his philosophy behind just calling himself that completely, but that's not something that I subscribe to. But I understand why he does. Professor says, oh, subs or dubs, and is it worth physical removal for disagreeing? No, I wouldn't physically remove people that like dubs, but I will gladly teach them how to read. Because it's tragic. They just don't know how to read. It's so sad. Martin said season 2 isn't bad. It's just a huge step down in quality compared to season 1. I actually haven't seen season 2. Taxation and Stuff Guy, well, I like it. That's fine. You go ahead. You use that label, but I'll be watching you, man. If you become a commie, I'm starting the chopper, dude. John Douglas, by the way, I'm having an anime podcast with Jared Rabel soon. I'm going to teach him what a waifu is. Nice. That's awesome. I'll have to tune in for that one. RC Scott, what if I'm doing other things while watching the anime? Dub comes in handy there. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, if I'm gonna watch anime, I'm gonna watch anime. So, there are older animes where I don't mind watching the dub, like Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho, older animes like that. Put those on in the background. Sailor Moon, I grew up on the dub of Sailor Moon, fine. But yes, Neil, I completely agree with that statement that you just said in the chat. Guys, it's 8:58. Do you guys have any last questions for me real quick? We have about a few minutes left. Hey Max, what's up? I've been seeing you hanging out in the chat. If you guys have any last questions you guys want to get in, 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning. Yeah, we do 2-minute warnings now on this stream. Why have you forsaken the Periscope chat? I haven't. I have you guys all in one chat now, as someone suggested earlier, and you guys are being overwhelmed. I am reading what you're saying, though. Scott Kilgore, what's more common? A man leaving his religion for a woman, or a woman leaving hers for a man? I would think that it would be more common for a woman to leave for a man. Just going off of stereotypes. Should I start playing Closing Time? Closing Time. I actually hate that song. That song is so trash. Max asking me if I browse 4chan. Of course not. You're right. Technically, I did start streaming at 7:15. Did you just call Phil Collins bleh? What is wrong with you? Max, I'm being sarcastic. Scoundrel, should I have my fiance convert to Islam even though I'm a Christian? No? What? I don't even know what that question means. Phil Collins didn't have to go hard for us on that Tarzan soundtrack, but he did. You are a bad person. RC Scott, I'm just going to say, oh, RC, you asked me a question earlier. Well, let me scroll up. Oh, are you a horror fan? Okay, I love Stephen King's books, despite his ridiculous political opinions. I really enjoy reading horror, and I'm subscribed to a lot of YouTube channels that review horror movies, but I can't watch horror films because I'm a wimp. I'm too easily frightened by those. Also, you guys are talking about La La Land in the chat, and I have never seen that. Tom, hey, what's up, Tom? Cass is singing. Right Can't you just like hear the drums right now, guys? What are we saying? VR horror games? Absolutely not. Drums intensify, yes. Let's see. RC's asking me what my favorite Stephen King book is. I really like Insomnia. That's one of my favorites. And I also like Thinner. Is a really good Stephen King novel, which I don't see people talk about Thinner a lot. But I think Insomnia would be my favorite. Maybe because I have trouble sleeping, so it was especially horrifying for me. But it's a great book. I do also like Peter Gabriel Genesis, for the record, which is, I guess, kind of sacrilegious. Usually people have a preference. Of course, I like it as well. Oh, Salem's Lot is really good. It's just asking people like what their favorite Stephen King book is like asking me what's my favorite 70s, 80s band. There's just so many that I like that it's hard, but guys, I'm not going to play horror games. You guys are nuts. Someone asked if I like Devin Townsend. I haven't listened to a lot of Devin Townsend, to be quite honest, which I know is bad, but RC Scott said just as long as they don't say sell. I remember I went into an old bookshop, and I bought Cell and Thinner, the Stephen King books, and I read Cell and I was like, this is trash. And then I read Thinner and it was much better. Much better. So yeah, I can agree with that as long as they don't say Cell. That's valid. Thoughts on the band Sweet? I like Sweet. That's Ballroom Blitz, right? Yeah, I like Sweet a lot. They're not like one of those bands I could name a bunch of songs from, but I like them. I won't turn them off if they come on. Oh no, yeah, I know. Yeah, Sweet was Ballroom Blitz, right? Or am I going nuts? Oh, RC, no, I just bought them at the same time. Cell is Stephen King. Oh, yeah. So that is Sweet that sings Ballroom Blitz. Neil, do you like Ayn Rand? I'm partial towards her. No, I don't. Mostly because for some reason, almost every objectivist I've ever come into contact with is the most insufferable human being. I don't know what it is. And I don't find her writing great at all. I'm like not a fan of Atlas Shrugged. I don't like it at all. I think the Fountain is better, but I I'm just not really a fan. Respect for libertarians that are into her, and I understand the historical influence regarding her and a lot of libertarians, but I'm not personally a fan. Martin Frainer said, I like Within Temptation. I don't like Nightwish. My husband likes Nightwish. But Razor Fist. I don't think I've watched a lot of Razor Fist videos. I don't dislike people. I don't dislike people that were influenced by Ayn Rand. I just personally am not a huge fan. Martin said, people who like Within Temptation don't tend to like Nightwish and vice versa. Yeah, but like, I'm not a person that listens to that kind of music a lot. Symphonic stuff like that, I'm not. I used to be when I was younger pretty into that kind of stuff, but I don't like it that much. I'll listen to it if it's on, but meh. RC said, I'm a fan of 80s thrash, Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, etc. Yeah, I like all those. I have a very broad taste in music. If you guys don't follow me on Twitter, I have 70s and 80s rock enthusiasts in my profile. But pretty much the only kind of music that I don't enjoy is modern country music. I like some more folk sounding things. I like some old country. Not a lot, but some. But I listen to a lot of different things. Neil Mack, do you listen to classical music? I listened to classical music a lot in college for studying and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll listen to anything. Does prog rock count in that category? In what category? Yes, I like prog rock. Are you kidding me? Are you for real? Are you asking me if I like prog rock? I love Rush. I cried when Neil died. Yes, I like prog rock. Good Lord. Neil said the only music I can't really get into is R&B. I like some R&B too. I can't agree with that. I listen to rap, R&B, 70s, 80s, whatever. Oh, okay. I mean, would you count that as part of the 70s, 80s rock or its own thing? For me, I define 70s and 80s rock music as anything that came out between the 70s and the 80s. So yes, but I also understand why a lot of people make it separate because of the different sound. Yeah, it's definitely not the same as 80s rock. I can agree with that. It's a different sound. I understand why people categorize it on its own. But personally, that's why I say 70s-80s rock, because like whatever. RC said the older I get, the more I appreciate the Smashing Pumpkins. I cannot agree with that. I hate the Smashing Pumpkins. I legitimately don't understand. I don't get it. I hate that voice. I do like glitchy electronic stuff if I'm feeling glitchy and electronic. Hater. I am a hater. I'm sorry. Auteshu. Okay. Auteshu. I have no idea how to say that, Neil, but I'll check them out. This is a no hater zone. Autekar. Auteker? Autekar. Okay. I'll check them out. Are they on Spotify? I'll listen to them tomorrow when I'm at work. RC, can you hate the Patriots? Absolutely. Autekra. Oh. Auteker? I love that the last 3 minutes of the stream is you guys just trying to teach me how to pronounce this band's name. Martin, that's not being a hater. It's common sense. Oh, good. They're on Spotify. That's what I use. I'll definitely check them out then. Oh, I love Gojira. Yeah, you don't have to tell me about them. I love Gojira. I was so surprised when I found out that they're from France. Europe just kills it with the metal, dude. Like, I make fun of Europeans a lot, but oof. Yeah, Gojira is really cool. I don't even know what ska is. I still don't. I see memes about it. I don't even understand. What the hell is ska? RC said, I saw them open up for Slipknot last August. They stole the show. I bet they did. Oh man. What a show though. Swedish death metal. Europe produces some good music. Yeah, I can't hate them for that. Can't hate on them for that. It's the absolute truth. For all they do, all the crazy stuff they do. Philosopher King, the Malcolm in the Middle theme song is ska. I hated Malcolm in the Middle, the show, so I have repressed. Ska is Jamaican music, basically sped up reggae. Why would you speed up reggae? That sounds horrible. Cass said, which reminds me, can't wait until Carpenter Brut is on tour again. Oh, Carpenter Brut is amazing. I saw Carpenter Brut open for Ghost 3 years ago now. 3 or 4 years ago I saw them open up for Ghost. And I had no idea who it was. But I saw him open up for Ghost, and Carpenter Brut is amazing. Philosopher King, August Burns Red. No, I don't like August Burns Red. That's Hot Topic music. R.C. Scott said, I'm probably the only person in my generation that hasn't watched one episode of Friends. I've never watched a whole episode of Friends because it's very annoying. I don't understand this giant... I don't really like sitcom style shows anyway. But... Alright, guys. Is it Brute? Come on, guys. I don't pronounce things. Friends is terrible. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll end on the fact that Friends is trash. I can't pronounce things, and Friends is trash. That's where we're ending this. No, but seriously, guys, we still have 23 people watching, and it's been 2 hours. You guys are amazing. Thank you for all the fantastic discussions that we've had tonight. I really appreciate you guys hanging out and giving me your input, asking for book recommendations and things like that. And I just want to thank you guys for hanging out with me for so long. I feel like every time we stream, we get more people watching to the end, and the fact that you guys will just listen to me ramble for this long is amazing. For all the newbies, I stream Thursday nights from 7 to 9 usually. We went a little longer tonight since I hopped on late, 15 to 20 minutes after 7. So thanks for hanging out. It's almost 9:20 now, so I am going to pop off of here. But I really appreciate you guys. I hope you guys are staying safe with all the craziness that's going on right now. All the government's cracking down on us locally and beyond. And I hope you guys have a comfy night. I'll see you next Thursday. And I'm also going to be streaming Animal Crossing this Saturday on this channel live as well. Time to be announced. I'm not sure what time I'll stream yet. Probably late afternoon, early evening. So stay tuned for that. And I hope you guys have a comfy night, and I will see you